Have you ever considered the importance of knowing the amendments of the U.S. Constitution? It's a question that might make you pause, and for good reason. These amendments, these changes and additions to the very blueprint of our society, play an integral role in our everyday lives. They form the bedrock of the rights and freedoms we enjoy as Americans, shaping not only our legal landscape, but also our social and cultural identities. From the freedom of speech to the right to vote, from citizenship rights to the regulation of firearms, they're the guiding principles that ensure the United States remains a land of liberty and justice for all. So, whether you're a student, a teacher, a lawyer, or just a curious mind, knowing these amendments can empower you, protect you, and even inspire you. Without further ado, let's dive into the 5 most important amendments you should know. The First Amendment, a cornerstone of American democracy, guarantees several fundamental rights. It's like the DNA of our nation, a blueprint for the freedoms we hold dear. It safeguards the freedom of religion, enabling citizens to practice, or not practice, any faith without fear of repercussion. It upholds the freedom of speech, giving everyone a voice, a chance to express their thoughts, ideas, and beliefs without government censorship. The First Amendment also defends the freedom of the press, allowing journalists to investigate and report without hindrance. It supports the freedom of assembly, empowering citizens to gather peacefully and protest, to rally for change. And lastly, it ensures the right to petition the government, giving the people the power to seek remedies for grievances. These rights are the bedrock of our democracy, the pillars upon which our society stands. The First Amendment is a robust shield, protecting citizens' rights to express themselves freely. Moving on to the 14th Amendment, a significant expansion of civil rights in American history. This amendment, adopted in the wake of the Civil War, marked a major turning point for rights and liberties in the United States. It granted citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the country, a provision that notably included former slaves. But the 14th Amendment didn't stop there. It also provided equal protection under the law, a crucial safeguard that ensures that states cannot deprive individuals of their basic rights without due process. This means that every person, regardless of their race, religion, or social status, is entitled to fair treatment in the eyes of the law. The 14th Amendment acts as a bulwark against discrimination, a defense against injustice, and a guarantor of equal opportunity for all. It is a testament to the enduring spirit of American democracy. The 14th Amendment, a beacon of equality, ensuring justice for all. The 15th and 19th Amendments, milestones in American history, expanded the democratic process to include all citizens. The 15th Amendment, ratified in 1870, holds a unique place in American history. It boldly declared that the right to vote could not be denied on the basis of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. This amendment aimed to protect the voting rights of African Americans, a population recently emancipated from the bonds of slavery. However, the road to its full realization was far from easy. Despite its noble intentions, the 15th Amendment encountered numerous roadblocks, including discriminatory practices like poll taxes and literacy tests. Yet it persevered, standing as a beacon of hope, a testament to the American spirit of equality and justice. Almost half a century later, in 1920, another monumental amendment was added to the Constitution, the 19th Amendment. This amendment extended the democratic process to half the population that had been conspicuously absent from the electoral roll: women. The 19th Amendment was the result of decades of tireless activism by suffragists, women, and men alike, who believed in the fundamental principle of equality. It represented not just a legal victory, but a societal shift, a recognition of women's rightful place in the political process. Both amendments, the 15th and the 19th, mark significant milestones in the ongoing journey towards a more inclusive democracy. They have confronted and continue to confront the barriers that seek to limit certain groups' participation in the democratic process. These amendments are not just historical artifacts, but living, breathing parts of our Constitution, reminders of the struggles faced, victories won, and the work that remains in ensuring every citizen, regardless of race or gender, has their voice heard. The 15th and 19th Amendments, champions of democratic participation, ensuring every voice is heard. Lastly, the Second Amendment, a topic of intense debate, protects the right of the people to keep and bear arms. This constitutional provision, dating back to the late 18th century, holds a unique place in American society, culture, and legal interpretation. The Second Amendment's text is succinct but has been the subject of much interpretation and controversy. Its 27 words have been dissected, analyzed, and debated by legal scholars, politicians, and citizens alike. The key question revolves around whether the amendment protects an individual's right to own guns, or if it's tied to the collective right of maintaining a well-regulated militia. Those who view the Second Amendment as a guarantor of individual rights emphasize the importance of self-defense. They argue that the right to bear arms provides citizens with the necessary means to protect themselves, their families, and their property. They believe that this right is fundamental and should not be unduly restricted by government regulations. On the other hand, critics of this interpretation advocate for stricter gun regulations, citing the alarming rates of gun violence in the United States. They argue that the Second Amendment does not provide an unlimited right to own guns, and that reasonable measures should be taken to ensure public safety. They point to the phrase "well-regulated" in the amendment's text as a basis for implementing gun control laws. The Second Amendment debate also extends to the courts, where various rulings have shaped its interpretation and application. This includes landmark decisions like District of Columbia v. Heller in 2008, which affirmed the individual right to possess firearms unrelated to militia service. Despite the ongoing debate, one thing remains clear: the Second Amendment is a vital part of the U.S. Constitution, reflecting the historical context of its creation and the ongoing conversation about its meaning in the 21st century.